At your top 5 stories of the week. Covering your face in public in Louisville could lead to a fine or even jail time.
It comes after the suspects in a shooting at PRP High School had their faces covered. This is this week's top story. Police say that 2 minors were shot at the school during a rescheduled football game between PRP and Male. One of the victims showed up to a hospital with gunshot wounds and is expected to be okay. But another victim, a young man, was found at the scene shot multiple times. He was rushed to the hospital. The victim's family says he's 17 years old, and they're pleading for the gun violence in Louisville to stop.
We have to become more proactive in our approach towards gun violence and the effects that it have on our community. And that's every Louisvillian.
The family asked to keep the victim's name private because of his age. Louisville's mayor is looking to enforce an old ordinance that bans the use of masks in public to fight back against criminals. And another twist in the case of a Kentucky sheriff accused of killing a judge in his chambers.
A Kentucky State Police trooper testified that right before Letcher County Sheriff Sean Steins shot the judge, Steins tried to call his daughter on the judge's phone. This is number 2. Steins was in court Tuesday. He's charged with murder. Police say he shot and killed District Judge Kevin Mullins at the Letcher County Courthouse last month. While in court, Trooper Clayton Stamper took the stand to answer some questions about the investigation. He stated that Steins and Mullins talked at a luncheon earlier that day, and then their conversation escalated quickly later in the judge's chambers. Video from inside the chambers was shown in court. The trooper confirmed the sheriff's daughter's number was in the judge's phone. According to the trooper, after the sheriff was arrested, he told officers that, quote, "they're trying to kidnap my wife and daughter," end quote. The judge now must decide if the case will go to a grand jury. Well, 2 former LMPD officers connected to the Breonna Taylor raid face serious charges once again after a federal judge dismissed them.
The latest on this case coming in at number 3 this week. The Department of Justice filed new indictments against Kyle Meany and Joshua Janes this week. The 2 officers were originally indicted in 2022, accused of lying on the warrant that led police to Breonna Taylor's door, and then trying to cover it up. Last month, Judge Charles Simpson dismissed some of the most serious charges against Meany and Janes, stating the warrant did not cause Taylor's death, rather gunfire did. But again, the officers are facing a new indictment. Janes and Meany will have to be arraigned again with a scheduled court date on October 18th. Both are currently released on bond. And we are getting our first look at video of LMPD's SWAT team rescuing a hostage and arresting the suspect.
This is number 4. The rescue operation happened last month, but the video was just released. Police say Artis Chenault hit a woman with his car at Rockford Lane and Cane Run Road and put her in his car while she was unconscious and brought her to an apartment on Shanks Lane. Witnesses called it in and SWAT responded. They rescued the woman and arrested the man. SWAT also found a gun, crack cocaine, and fentanyl pills. Chenault faces several charges, including kidnapping, assault, and drug trafficking. Chronically absent students and teacher shortages. Those are 2 of the biggest challenges Kentucky students face.
That conclusion coming from the state's Commissioner of Education, Robbie Fletcher. This week, the Department of Education released its state test scores. Overall, Kentucky students across all grade levels saw a mix of improvement and decline in proficiency scores for core subjects. To help address chronic absenteeism, the KDE launched a statewide campaign reminding people what their child misses if they miss school. That includes billboards and TV ads. The state's top educator says when students are in the classroom, positive outcomes will reflect that.
You're missing out on not only learning, but you're missing out on relationships. We believe one of the issues that can greatly impact students is if we can reduce that absenteeism number, especially the chronic absenteeism, which has grown tremendously since 2020.
KDE says it will roll out a campaign in 2025 to address teacher shortages. Commissioner Fletcher also hopes the General Assembly will help the state find ways to recruit more teachers.